Hi, this is Dr. Parikh, and here's Module 6. This is where things pick up a bit again. Um, this is where a lot of the research methodology is happening. As I said, this semester I get spring 2022. I get a little extra time, so I could spread things out. In a future semester, you might see one or two assignments being different on your overview, and if it's just one or two things, I might not do new videos. Or the timelines might be a little compressed. It's a little tighter together. So academic writer, we're moving more into scientific research. And I may even move some of these things up to Module 5 just because you have a little more time then. But these really are going to teach you what goes into each sections. I think they're incredibly important to do because, we're not teaching research methods in this class. So this is the only place you'll learn where these things are. And so I get a lot of students who feel lost and say, well, how am I supposed to know this stuff? And, first I ask, well, have you watched the videos? And then I say, have you done academic writer? Because this is where you're supposed to learn this stuff. Many students are used to just kind of coming to class and that being enough to get by. Maybe not with an A, maybe with an A, I don't know. But in this class, so much of the learning really is up to you to do. And I think that I think academic writer is incredibly high quality. It's fabulous. So videos, one thing I'll say is that the method is broken up into 3 different sections. It was largely unchanged. I did a fairly brief introduction that highlights things that have changed, but there were so few changes that it wasn't worth redoing the entire series. Let's see, present study, this one also I think is an older video because it just didn't need updates. I think results might be older as well. So there have been fewer changes to these sections than to other parts of the literature review and research proposal. So you're doing a check-in, you're doing an outline. This is a 1-paragraph section. Students usually do really well, and this is the transition from your introduction into your the methodology of your study. Method outline, this is, there's 3 chunks. I suggest kind of trying to do it in 2 or 3 sittings. And I've tried to simplify it. I think it will be a little easier to do now. But this is a little heavy. You'll also want to schedule whether you want to do a live feedback session or just a rubric. So for the literature review paper, typically in-person classes, I require everyone to do an in-person meeting. I may be shifting that over time, partly because it's easier for me too. But generally, I have required that everyone do an in-person meeting. And I've given an option for an in-person meeting for the research proposal. For the online class, because you are not, in person, I make class times part of the times that we meet. And it hasn't been an issue so far because I open up my schedule quite a bit. For the online class, the expectation is that you're asynchronous, so I don't feel comfortable requiring you to meet with me live. Instead, I have you choose either a live meeting or a screen recording, similar to the ones I do for class. I just realized I can make this a bit bigger. Sorry, sometimes I don't notice that it's not as readable as it could be. Sometimes it is important to be zoomed out so that I can show more of the paper, but this is not one of those times. So for the literature review, you have a choice of a live session or a detailed recording that is similar to a live session, but just not interactive. But those take quite a bit of time and effort. My voice gets wrecked. It's just tough. And so for the final paper, what I do is I kind of say, I am happy to give you that level of feedback again if you care enough to make a meeting with me. If you show up and spend your time doing it as well and do the interactive piece, which I think makes it more powerful, then yes, we will make it happen. But especially given that I have usually pretty limited time to submit final grades and I try to put the paper due very close to the end of the semester, I just realistically could not make videos for everybody, or it would be extremely difficult. And the rubrics are so detailed, and you have gotten so many layers of feedback from me that usually people are kind of at their limit. We think about dosing feedback and information, so not just piling on tons and tons and not giving too little either. Most people say, I've had quite a bit of feedback at this point. I just want a final rubric, a final score, and I'll move on with my day. For the online class, the nice thing is you can always, I'm still available for office hours, so you could potentially just schedule with me for a few weeks later if you want more information. For the in-person class, usually if you don't request a meeting, you have to wait until the next semester if you want to meet and go through what I gave you for feedback. So here, I just want to know what to expect, so I will have my schedule open. You can so just tell me, like, I scheduled, here's the date I scheduled, or no, I just want a rubric, because then I can close out my calendar, because I like to know my schedule at least a week or two in advance for big things like this. Sometimes nobody wants to meet, sometimes over half the class wants to meet, and those are very different situations. And I can make either of those happen, but I really need advance notice. So this is also, Monday is the last day to email me and say, here are a few times that I'm available, nothing in your schedule works for me. I'd really like to meet. Here's at least 3 days and times that work. And we will do our best to get something scheduled. Results section, this is very straightforward. Just make sure that you're using that main list hypothesis and variables. So out of what's here, this method outline is really the toughest one. I'm not sure if I'll leave it here or move it. I've got this discussion video, but it's not due yet, but it's due pretty quickly on what I consider the next week. So for now, I've got you watching the video this week, but there's a lot of videos, so I might move it to the next week. Small things like that you might see changing, and that's a great friendly reminder. Typically, don't wait until you've completed, don't wait until day 1 of the next module to start reviewing materials and assignments for that module. But we are getting very close to the end. You're outlining everything new that's brand new for your research proposal. And then next week, you're just going to update things. Now, some of those are like complete rewrites, but I think you've still added on most of the brand new stuff. So you are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. You are, I'm sure, feeling your other courses pick up as well. And luckily, you have one more big push after this week, and then you're done with this class and you can focus your energy elsewhere. Congratulations and take care. Oh, I guess for the in-person class, you've got a little more time, but you've also had more time all along. Take care. Bye-bye.